Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Oh, fuck, yep. As dawn breaks upon a new season here of collegiate iRacing action, we turn our attention to the hub of stock car racing. Coming to you live from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, it is time for the clash here in the Garage Shop College Cup Series, presented by the Collegiate iRacing League. You are watching the CIL. I am your host tonight, Alex Gagnon. Brad Daniels joins me in the booth for the Ignition Zone pre-race show. Brad, welcome to the CIL booth for the first time.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Charlotte here tonight. A very exciting race, very historic racetrack in itself, and I'm excited to see what this pre-season race has in store for us.
Yeah, it should be a ton of fun, no doubt about that. This is the season's lone non-points race for the year, the Charlotte Crown 115, presented by the Garage Shop. Should be a fun one. 75 laps here tonight around Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, there's a lot of familiar faces making their way back to the CIL this year for Season 11. And for as many returners as we do have a host of new drivers ready to stake their claim as the top driver in collegiate sim racing, coming out here for their rookie season this year. Last year's champion, Matt Morton, will be looking to try and repeat as champion, repeat his win from Charlotte last year. Charlotte not on the regular season calendar, but is on the preseason calendar tonight. And honestly, I think it's going to be a load of fun. Brad, obviously, you've been a competitor in the CIL for a number of years, as has myself, but you honestly longer than I have. What is it about running the CIL that makes it such a rewarding experience that people keep coming back to season after season?
You get a wide variety of learning experiences and also just skill in drivers. You get to learn, when I started, I was brand new to iRacing, and pretty much everything I had to learn throughout these races that, how to save your tires, how to conserve fuel, how to kind of take those, very low-hanging fruit items and kind of just build upon it. And even by the time I was really getting out of college and everything like that and starting to race on my own, it was a lot. I learned a lot of experience and a lot more about what it takes to be a great racer in the CIL. And I know there's a lot of racers tonight that were way better than me, and I'm happy to see that they're still running out here.
Yeah, there is quite a few. I mean, we got the wide range of talent here in the CIL. It's quite the crowd. Some really, really talented sim racers will be in the field tonight. There is no doubt about that. But I wouldn't sell yourself too short. I mean, especially at some tracks, you really racked up the top fives there for a while. I keep thinking back to Phoenix. That's just a track you always seem to find yourself at the front at before long. But, tonight we have the opportunity to run at Charlotte, mile and a half, classic cookie cutter track, but also one of the most famous tracks in all of, stock car racing. What does a driver need to do to be successful here at Charlotte? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of mile and a halves out there, and none of them are quite the same, and none of them run quite the way Charlotte does.
Absolutely. I mean, as Alex said previous year, there's a lot of mile and a half tracks, and this racetrack in itself has a lot to offer. So first things first, there's 4 turns. Tri-oval does not count as a turn, and really the banking is up there from 24 degrees down to 6 degrees banking. And I really think this track, you need to conserve the tire and know what you really are getting yourself into in each and every corner, because turn 2 and turn 4 are not the same exact turn. You got to drive it a little differently, and you also got to take different lines, and you have to ultimately know how to get through the entire backstretch and really on the pit road as well. It's a little different of a pit road. As you see, pit speed is 45 miles an hour, and it's been one that not only has been storied in real time, as you can see, CIL has been here since 2021, season 3. So a lot of these drivers know what they're getting themselves into here at Charlotte.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks that, to the point you made a second ago, but the corners do not run the exact way out of here. Your exit of 2 and exit of 4 going to be a little different. And I really think that, especially that turn 4 exit, can be really tricky for drivers at times, especially if they're in a side-by-side situation. It's a bit more narrow, I think, than a lot of folks realize coming off that corner. And then you start trying to go through that quad oval side-by-side, and you just start running out of real estate in a hurry. We're going to take the old Skycam on down to Charlotte Raceway. And, one of the things about Charlotte is not only does it have the classic mile and a half oval, there are so many different tracks that are tucked inside of this place.
Absolutely, Alex. And there's a wide variety for every type of race fan, or not even race fans. There's camping sites outside the track, but inside the track, as you can see, there's the storied Roval that has been within the NASCAR schedule for seasons now. And there's also a drag strip for all your favorite drag racing needs, and even a dirt track for everyone into motocross and everything like that. So this track has a lot to offer, along with some historic movie scenes from anything from Talladega Nights, Speedway with Elvis Presley, and even Days of Thunder. So it really has a lot to offer, from family fun to even movie scenes and the big lights, especially here tonight with the CIL.
Yeah, obviously kicking off. Fun fact, actually, when you were telling me that the different movies this was in, I had never heard of Speedway with Elvis Presley until you mentioned. I had to look it up, and
Yes.
lo and behold, that is indeed a movie. But I genuinely, I was like, oh yeah, Talladega Nights, I heard of that one. Days of Thunder, I've heard of that one. And then we got to Speedway. I said, not entirely sure what that one was. But yeah, no, all three. And I mean, obviously those filmed decades apart from each other. So it just goes to show how long it's been hanging around out here. But, this is the first CIL race back since the end of the spring semester back in, late April, early May. And obviously most of these drivers have been doing sim racing on their own time over the summer. And even leading up to this race, a lot of prep has gone into this season. And they get one race tonight, 75 laps, to just start getting a base understanding of not only how they stack up here in the collegiate iRacing scene, but how the cars around them will be running. This is a prime opportunity, a prime learning experience, I think, for the whole field to get out there, get their feet under them, get back into the swing of things. And it's a great early gauge to see who we should be keeping our eye on as the season unfolds, I feel like.
Absolutely, Alex. All these preseason races and even the first race next week, you'll see some new faces, some new battles, and even some old story ones that thought were long and gone. So especially here at Charlotte, I really like this racetrack. I think it has a lot to offer action-wise, and for really anyone, it's probably the most the best package of a racetrack. Not too long, not too short, a lot of action, and it could offer a lot of green flag racing, and also has the potential to have some very historic wrecks.
Yeah, it certainly does bring that capability. But, we're talking about what's coming up on the schedule after Charlotte, this being the Clash, then getting into the points race. So let's take a look at that schedule here, announced a couple of weeks ago. This is this year's 2024 fall schedule for the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Obviously, tonight, the Clash at Charlotte, the lone non-points paying race on the schedule. Then from there, you get a crisp 8-race regular season, a 4-round playoff with the championship race unfolding just after Thanksgiving on December 2nd in Vegas. And the thing that jumps out at me when I look out at this schedule is the variety of it. First couple races, super speedway, 2-mile non-restrictor plate track, 1.5 miles. And then you start getting into a couple of really interesting ones. Road Atlanta does not really have any sort of prior cup experience. So I think that'll be an interesting one to see unfold, as will Chicagoland, a track that has been used in NASCAR for quite a while, but not any time since they've had the next-gen cars. So it'll be fun to see how that unfolds, and then a very varied playoff schedule as well. Brad, what are some of the races that you are most excited for on this schedule?
Honestly, these first 3 points participating races, Talladega Auto Club and Kansas, I think those are so much action-packed racing that has to be offered there. And then looking into the playoffs, I think it's a great variety from short tracks in Bristol, Phoenix, that's a little larger, Darlington, it's such a historic track and has a lot of history with just the the Lady in Black and everything like that. And then Watkins Glen, the pretty much probably NASCAR's most historic road course.
Yeah, I mean, longest standing on the calendar for sure. Couple of road courses, it's been a thing we've been seeing more and more in the Garage Shop College Cup Series over the past couple seasons. They didn't run a road course until about season 6 or season 7, and now we've been seeing about 1 or 2 of them a year since. This year we've got 2 with Road Atlanta and then Watkins Glen. Has always provided some really unique racing, some opportunity for drivers we may not always see at the front of the field to jump up there and really make some noise at the front of the field. But, we're looking at the time here. I think we have a little bit of time real quick just to do a quick look at our race analysis while we still have a few minutes here on the Ignition Zone pre-race show. So, Producer Christian, if it's possible to pull up that pre-race... Here we go. Starting to get set up here. There it is. So, our race analysis tonight, 75 laps in total, 112.5 miles. Brad, for the first time ever in CIL competition, we will have a scheduled stage break at lap 30. What does it mean to you, seeing as a contender here, when you have a stage break, does it change your approach to how you run the start of this race?
I think it does. I think it puts a lot more purpose into where you want to qualify and also where you really want to run for the majority of the race. Because as you can see, the estimated fuel window is right where that stage break is. So really, people are just going to be trying to make it to that stage break if everything goes well and stays green. So I think, Alex, if everything goes right, your biggest concern is to try and stay fast throughout this 30-lap stage and really just keep it all four wheels on the ground.
Yeah, and that will be the big key, that estimated fuel window, 30 to 45 laps. Really interesting on how that'll play out to the race end. Should we stay green to the finish? Could put some drivers having to pit a second time, but it's entirely possible that someone could stretch that all the way to that lap 75 mark. That stage break at lap 30 will hit when the leader hits the stripe to start lap 30. So it'll be 29 complete laps. The start of lap 30 is where the stage break will be implemented. Pit lane time, 20 to 23 seconds estimated on pit road if everything goes smoothly. And an extra set of tires available, plus the one you already had on the car. So you've got to... Oh, sorry. Producer Christian letting us know they actually have 5 sets total, so they have plenty more tires than that. So you don't have to worry about saving them too badly as long as you have the opportunity to come down pit road without losing too much track position. But with that being said, I think it is just about time for us to take a quick commercial break here on the Ignition Zone pre-race show. Don't go anywhere, though. The Clash, the Charlotte Crown 115, presented by the Garage Shop College Cup Series, coming to you live starting at 9 p.m. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so, and we will be bringing you flag-to-flag coverage of this race, the first of Season 11 for the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Stay tuned.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
And we are back once again. Virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, the battleground tonight for the first race of Season 11 of the Garage Shop College Cup Series here on the Collegiate iRacing League YouTube channel. We're so thrilled all of you guys could make it here to join us in chat tonight. If you guys are watching, feel free to drop in chat how you guys are feeling, who you're pulling for tonight, what you're expecting. I know for me personally, Brad, I think I'm expecting a little bit of carnage out there tonight as everyone starts getting acclimated to being back on track with each other again. I would not be surprised if we see a couple of drivers die for the same bit of real estate and end up finding each other on track.
Absolutely, Alex. Again, this track will offer a lot to see who in these new groups of rookies will be taking home possibly a win or just really throwing their name in the hat for the championship this season. And then also just to see the battles from previous seasons. And really, Alex, the one thing I want to know is, do you have your eye on anyone tonight to take home the title of Charlotte Motor Speedway?
You know, that is a great question. Now, we've been watching practice here a little bit, just kind of keeping an eye on some opening lap times and all. And, you know, the lead group so far has been a mix of a couple of new faces, a couple of veterans, and then a couple of folks who we'll do a surprise welcome back to. So I think the first name that jumps out to me, and obviously this might be a bit of a biased poll, but running pretty well up there for UNC Charlotte, it was the 58 machine of Jared Kaler, who many folks will know is a multi-time champion here of the College Cup Series, but he hasn't been around the past couple seasons, but he is back tonight to try and stake his claim once again as continuing his legacy as the winningest driver in College Cup Series history. But he's going to have a tall order with some of the folks around him there, Brett. I mean, this is not the same CIL that he left a couple seasons ago. I mean, there is a lot of talent in this field tonight.
Absolutely. And as time goes on, I mean, really, any league, any type of game, or even in real life, any sport gets better with time. So I think right now, Jared's going to have to really fend for his own, try to see, you know, how fast he is compared to some of the people he left here and some of these new guys, and just see, you know, who's fast and who's not compared to him. And then jumping outside of that, people like Drew Williams and Jake Hall, I mean, they're fast in practice right now. I could see them easily contending for that win right now.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of speed through that opening group. A couple of surprise names up there. It's a pleasant surprise, if you ask me, to see a driver like Jake Hall up there. Not someone we got to see a ton of previously, so it'd be fun to see what he's got up there. Andrew Stagey really turned it on late last season, so I'm excited to see the fact that he's continuing that momentum he's coming in with to end season 10. I think that's pretty cool. I'm seeing some support in the chat as well for Sawyer and Emery and Henry. I know off of my note sheet, I know at least the 36 of Sawyer Mullins is one of the folks to keep an eye on. Oh, Emery and Henry is his college. Ha 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 ha. Emery and Henry University is the school that he attends, so I understand now where that's pulling from. You could have honestly fooled me into thinking that was 3 different people. But already some early support there. And I don't believe Sawyer Mullins has run a CIL event before, so I believe tonight will be his CIL debut. Excited to see how he'll shake up. I mean, we've got a really full field tonight. I mean, we've got, 38 or so who have taken a lap in practice. And with the fact that they're only taking 43 cars, if a couple more people join in the next, minute or two, they might have people getting sent home from qualifying here. Also seeing some support for Auburn down there in the chat. So a couple of schools already making it. Whoa, I am massive on the screen. Producer Christian wanted the extreme close up there of the old pearly whites, although they're not so pearly nor white. But yes, a couple of early folks in the chat here rooting for Emory and Henry University and Auburn University, which is pretty cool. And that's actually one of the things that I love, not only about this league, but just overall collegiate iRacing. You get schools of so many different sizes. You know, you have your Auburns, your Oklahomas that I see in chat, your Emory and Henrys, to smaller schools like Paul Smith's College, Robert Morris. There's so many. It levels the playing field for all these folks. It doesn't matter if you go to a school of 50,000 or 500. If you can wheel, and you'll find yourself up at the front of this field.
Absolutely, Alex. I think the main thing is, like you said, just being able to join this league with really any university that gives you the support. And as we are seeing tonight, we have a lot of support for a lot of different schools in chat, and also just all around. We have multiple drivers from multiple colleges in here. And really, we have our classic universities such as Clemson, Ball State, and others like that. But really, there's new schools coming with bigger and better, hopefully better futures than right now.
Yeah, we do. I'm seeing even more people filing in here. This is pretty cool. PSC, Ball State, Howard Community College, a lot of different folks piling in here. This is pretty cool. And this is the time where all that optimism builds in, right? This is the start of the year where it's just time where everyone's like, hey, nothing's happened yet, and there's everything to prove. Why not just go out there and do it? But we still got just a couple of minutes before we get trackside here at Charlotte. So let's go back. Let's take a look at that schedule again for anyone who may have missed it. Just so people can get a gauge. Obviously, with this being the first event of the year, the schedule brand new for everyone watching. So let's see if we can take a look at that schedule. Obviously, Charlotte kicking off the way. And then, Brad, I know you were saying just a few minutes ago that early slate of races in September is what got you the most excited about this schedule. But this is pretty rad, if I do say so myself. Talladega Auto Club, Kansas the first 3. 3 of the best tracks in these next-gen cars back to back to back.
Absolutely, Alex. And there's some road courses also mixed in there and some short track racing towards the end of the season. So I think we're going to see a lot of different action, a lot of different drivers at the front, especially those with road racing prowess. And really, just at the end of the season, you could see Las Vegas being the championship race. That has a lot to offer. And also, like, every time we go to Las Vegas, somebody's rolling the dice and trying to put all their money in the bank.
That they will. So that is the schedule here for the 2024 Garage Shop College Cup Series. Obviously, Charlotte kicking it off tonight. Producer Christian, do we have an opportunity to take a look at anything qualifying related? All right, we're going to see if we can get that queued up here. Qualifying underway at the moment. Oh, that's new. Well, alrighty. Sorry, I was not expecting the grid. This is a new graphic for this year. This is honestly pretty cool. Was not expecting that. So, if I'm reading this correctly here, folks, Brandon Schulenberger from Wingate University going to qualify on the pole here tonight, 30.041. Just ahead of John Hagan, although that is a dead heat through the opening two spots there. No separation, down to 1,000th of a second. Rolling on to row 2, Clint Halterman and that 077 machine from UNC Charlotte rolls off in third tonight. Daniel Nanny, runner-up for the championship last year, will roll off tonight in P4. About 100th of a second off the lead. Drew Williams for Clemson rolls off 5th tonight. Jason Wallet from Drexel rolls off 6th. 7th tonight will be Jake Hall in the 98 for Clemson. Andrew Burrell also for Clemson rolling off in that 121 machine to his outside. Will be making up row 4. Jared Kaler for UNC Charlotte. And Jake Cummings rolls off to his outside representing the new colors for Converse University.
Row 6, we got Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. To his outside, we got Oscar Enriquez. Coming into row 7 here, we got Ricky Paz. And in 14th position, Edwin Onofre. Still, this is a tight field. It's only a 10th off of the lead. Matthew Burton in 15th here, and Kelton Quick in 16th from Ball State. In 17th, we got Aiken Lamar, and in 18th, got Alex Hallinar. I'll tell you, some of these paint schemes are really nice. In 19th, Spencer Brown, and in 20th, rounding out your top 20, is Logan Smith.
Back in 21st tonight, Edward Sanchez from Baruch College to the inside of Andrew Stagey from Ball State. Back there, row 12, Ryan Whitlock, the University of Alabama, Huntsville. Landon Velicky from Auburn. Ben Neller for Ball State rolls off 25th. Connor Bingle rolls off from UAH to his outside. Zach Tallman from the Penn College of Technology rolls off 27th. Sky Schreck from the University of Oklahoma in 28th. And in row 15, it's the UNC Charlotte machine of Alex Finnerty and the Emory and Henry University car of Sawyer Mullins.
Coming into row 16 here, we got Logan Harping and Ethan Decatur. Decatur. My apologies. Row 17 here, we got Andrew McManus, and to his outside, Garrett Baton. Row 18, we got Kiefer Phillips and Grant Meter. Row 19, we got Wesley Shaw. To his outside, Devin Defoe. And rounding out your top 40 here, Keith Brubaker in 39th and Mario Miranda.
Then rounding out the field tonight, Nick Stockner from Clemson, Tony Brown from UNC Charlotte. A 42-car field tonight. The max they would take is 43, so Brad, I mean, that's about as close as you can get to a full field. What a field tonight for the Clash. This is going to be wild.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of racing here today, and as we can see, the row of cars just goes on, and it seems like it's never ending. So we got 42 cars here, and really 42 potential winners. Now, we'll see if strategy comes into play, if we get enough green flag running. I mean, really fuel saving, and especially this first stage will come into play here, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the row of cars here, and with the stage break at lap 30, people should be able to make it on fuel that opening stage. Things get a little more questionable on that second stage, but, you know, all the setups tonight, for the first time in CIL history, Makoni setups. We'll see how that comes into play here tonight. Everyone running the same setup, brought to you by the Makoni Setup Shop, and you're seeing just the rows upon rows of cars getting ready to go here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a beautiful sight. You can tell we're just about time to get going for the Clash preseason event, for the Garage Shop College Cup Series preseason event for the Collegiate iRacing League. Green flag going to be dropped in just a moment. Crowd in chat going crazy here. A lot of people, I think, pulling for UT, which I'm going to guess is the University of Toledo here. Big fan section for McManus and company.
Absolutely, Alex. As you can see, they're rolling into turn 3 here. We're coming to the green, and I really think if anyone's going to win it, I think it's somebody in this top 6 here.
So Schulenberger and Hagen going to make up that front row. They are roaring and ready to go here as the pace car with the lights off gonna make its way down pit road for the first time tonight. Green flag raised high in the air. And for the first time in Season 11, we are racing from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
As you can see, there's a little 3-wide action back there. As you can see, Drew Williams and Jason Wallet racing here going into turn 3. Wallet on the outside. As really this whole, I'm surprised this whole entire section is really not that bottled up.
Yeah, everyone fanned out immediately here. John Hagen takes the early lead up front, got around the 7 on the outside. Nanny tries to follow him, but John Hagen has checked out here. University of Oklahoma driver in good shape early, and it gets double file from there on back. Nanny and Schulenberger battling for second. Drew Williams trying to get into the mix as well. But right now, everybody following that 27 as he makes his way off of turn 4.
And some early notables here. Jason Wallet and Jared Taylor back towards the backside of the top 10 as we see John Hagen really just pulling away with this thing. And we're back in the pack here. We're back here with the 56 of Oscar Enriquez on the outside of Zachary DeWale. As you can see, a little bit of shifting behind them.
Yeah, it's getting busy up there in the middle of all of this. Right now on board with that 56 of Oscar Enriquez, who's right on the tail of Jared Kaler, right on the outside of Jake Hall in that 98 machine. 98 wicked fast in practice. Right now trailing in the back end of the top 10, trying to make his way forward in this one. And you can see now the top 10 is starting to get single filed out as everyone finds their place in line to start logging some laps. From beyond the top 10, though, things start getting a little more messy. You see Zach DeWale, fevered battle right now on the outside of Edwin Onofre, that North Texas machine, trying to get that run done on the inside, to no avail at this point.
As you can see, Oscar Enriquez and Jake Hall back in battle in here. Jake Hall on the outside trying to use that speed, trying to get a run down the backstretch here, which will clear him going into turn 3 here and be able to run his line, which it looks like he's running about the mid line here, maybe a little lower. But Alex, just looking at these beginning laps and everyone's single file for the most part, is there a preferred line you would say, just looking at these early laps?
The restart definitely favored the outside line and getting John Hagen and Daniel Nanny out to the front here. Drew Williams followed him as well. Now, someone sideways off of turn 2. Daniel Nanny dropping down the timing table. And that will bring out the first caution of the night. The 30 of Daniel Nanny from Ball State sideways off of turn 2. And that is going to bring out the yellow flag. The question's going to be is if he had any help.
I'll have to see here in a second. Fortunately, he was up fighting for it, really. He was trying to catch back up to the lead here, and now he sees himself at the back of the pack. We'll see what exactly happened there, if it was just his own mishaps or if he got a little bit of help.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the replay. Daniel Nanny there on the inside of Drew Williams as they were battling for second. Made his way up the track and just kind of lost it off the corner. Not sure. Might have been a little bit of contact with the 123 of Drew Williams, but at that point they were door-to-door off the corner, so not much you can say there. Didn't look like he really got any of the wall, so he will definitely be able to continue, no doubt about that. But here is the replay in slow motion. You see just how close they were running each other off the corner. And yeah, the 30 just gets a little loose off the corner. Maybe a slight tap with the 123 at most, but it was just enough to upset that car and have it go down toward that inside wall. A great save from Nanny to keep it off of the inside wall. Just a light tap as he slid on by.
Yeah, and during that, you could see Drew Williams also had to run his car a little bit into the wall after that contact. So I think it was a little bit, he might have been a little tight getting in, coming out of that corner there. So unfortunate to see early in the race, but hey, it's early in the race. You can mentally reset, physically reset, get some damages repaired if you need them, and luckily keep on going. There's still some time in this stage, so will we see him in the top 10? He'll have to battle a lot of cars to get back up there, but it could potentially happen.
It's definitely a possibility. And the other bright spot here for the 30 is, with this being the Clash, not a points-paying race, more just a tune-up for everyone in the field. So if there was to be a bad race, this would not be a bad one to have it be. But we're going to pop back up here toward the front of the field. Obviously everything still pacing around. But that 27 of John Hagan got the lead off the opening restart and then has just been able to cruise since. Did not really pull out to a massive lead, but was able to keep the challengers at bay. This time, though, he'll be restarting on the inside as opposed to the outside where he took the lead around Schulenberger. Drew Williams will have the luxury of restarting on the outside. Curious to see if that will result in any different luck here for the 27 having to restart in a different lane.
Considering Drew Williams looks like he's drag racing the pace car right now, it looks like these guys are kind of antsy to get it going. I honestly think Drew might have the advantage here going into turn 1, but really it was John Hagan just going shot. He was pretty much shot out of a cannon going into that corner and never looked back. And obviously now it's a full reset. So really we'll see what happens here if the inside line gets bottled up a little bit again, or if we have a battle going into turn 1 and 2 here.
We will. So John Hagan, University of Oklahoma, Drew Williams, Clemson University, that front row right now. And with this being the the Clash, everybody working out the bugs. Not a bad time to get some reps at the restart stripe when it comes time to it. Honestly surprised that we got those first couple laps in, no issues. With it being the start of the new year, I was almost certain someone was going to bottle it up, but things went pretty well, if I do say so myself, that opening couple of laps. But the lights are off on the pace car. He's about to peel back down pit road. Back down pit road he goes. The field 2 by 2 as they make their way back into the restart zone. And we are racing once again at Charlotte. A great launch from the 27. Going to check out from Drew Williams and the rest of the field as everyone fans out behind them, 2 and 3 wide as they make their way in the 1 and 2.
Again, John Hagan with that humongous start. It looked like potentially Andrew McManus had a little bit of a hiccup there on the restart, but still keeping third place. Drew Williams staying in second. pretty much top 5 stayed the same. As you see, Jason Wallet on the outside here trying to make that move work and potentially making a twofer if he can get to Brandon Schulenberger, but it doesn't look like it'll stick right now.
So things now starting to set up the first battle on track back there, the battle for 5th. Jason Wallet, Jake Cummings right now side by side. You see on the right side of that screen. On board here with Jake Cummings, new driver for Converse University this season after spending several years with the Wingate Esports program. His former teammate just up ahead of him there, Brandon Schulenberger, 2 cars ahead. Right now, Cummings going to try and find his way back around Wallet. He's going to look to the high side of the Drexel machine as they make their way into 1 and 2. Will there be enough room for him?
He is absolutely dialed in, trying to make this move work on the outside. He's making his car. He's getting past here. He's going down the backstretch, getting that pole, and it looks like he's gonna make that move work. It's clear, and now he can run his own line going into 3, or unless Jason Wallet really wanted to stick his nose in there, but. Looks like everything's fizzled out here, at least in the top 8 or so.
Yeah, everything's starting to settle back in again, at least amongst this lead pack of cars. First car you really see trying to make a move there might be actually Jake Cummings now trying to get around his old teammate in Schulenberger. And Drew Williams almost took a peek to the inside of John Hagan for the lead there in 1 and 2. Nothing going just yet, but the Clemson machine got to the back bumper of the leader, John Hagan. But we are still on board here with Jake Cummings in this battle with Brandon Schulenberger, P4, right now out on track. Now Williams goes to the inside.
Seeing if he can make it stick on the bottom. They're side by side going down the backstretch. It looks like John has that hole down the backstretch, but Drew's going to drive it in there and try to clear himself. It doesn't look like it's going to work, though. John's hanging to his outside on his door, and then coming out of 4 here, they're nose to nose right now. I don't know who led that lap, but I can tell you what, these two are going for it.
Yeah, they are going all out right now. They know that stage breaks in about 15 laps. Williams washing up the track a little bit, maybe a bit of contact with Hagan. Hagan, though, going to retain the point. He'll go back to the front now. Clinton Halterman looks to the inside of Williams. Cummings makes it 3 wide into turn 3. He's going to try and drive it in on the bottom. Going to take that spot away from Clinton Halterman. An aggressive move from Jake Cummings gets him up into P3. And now he's trying to track down Drew Williams for second. What a move from Jake Cummings. Won 2 races last year. Oh, caution's out. Caution's out deeper in the field. Oh boy, a lot of smoke there on the front stretch. Sawyer Mullins trying to get back up to speed here. That was one of the newcomers this year, that 36 machine from Emory and Henry University. Looks like he's not alone in getting back up to speed.
Looks like he doesn't have too much damage here, but going back to the replay, going down the backstretch, going into 3, sends it in there, and he's washing up a little bit and just can't make it stick on the bottom there. Nick Stockner looks like he's an innocent bystander, gets a little bit of damage, but it looks like Edward Sanchez at the top there as well. But it looks like relatively not a lot of damage to a lot of cars here. As I said that. And then
not a whole lot of damage to the cars as he absolutely collects, so I believe is Ricky Paz, and then maybe Landon Velicky as well. The 62 goes sideways, but no, to your point, it did seem like at first it was going to be all fine and dandy, and then all of a sudden it very much was not as he came back down the racetrack.
Yeah, that situation, you can't really get out of the way. He's stuck in the middle of the racetrack spinning, and you see in real time here, he was really slowing down, and Ricky just drove he had nowhere to go, honestly. He was in the middle of the track there and just couldn't really turn right into the wall or turn left and potentially wreck himself.
That will bring out the second caution of the night there on lap 16. The stage break scheduled for the start of lap 30, although if there was a yellow flag any time in the 5 laps prior, then that will be considered the stage break. Those cars who were involved in the wreck going to bring it down pit road, try and get that damage repaired. Some of those repair times going to be longer than others. So if your car, if you were in the case of Sawyer Mullins there, might take a few minutes to get that thing repaired. If you were one of the cars that only glanced off of them, might only be a couple of seconds. Either way, you'll probably cycle out toward the back if you're able to continue.
Absolutely, and it also just comes with more work to get back to where you were, even if, you know, you're 2 positions up. That this track is packed right now with 42 drivers. It is a full field. That's more than the NASCAR grid right now. So, I mean, these drivers are absolutely taking up as just half of the track pretty much on green flag runs. And if there's a long green flag run, lap traffic could be potentially in the way. But I don't know, with it looks like 11 laps to go here when it goes green. I don't know if that'll come into play until later in the race potentially.
Yeah, I don't think it would, at least for this little bit of time. I'd imagine after the stage break, though, if we get a long green flag run, it'll absolutely be something that we see. So we're looking here as they're going to start getting formed back up. That front row will still be John Hagan, Drew Williams when they get lined up. Lights are actually still on the pace car, so it'll be another lap after this one. Lot to get sorted from that wreck, I believe, and iRacing having an absolute field day trying to get 42 cars sorted out here. But, you know, through the opening going, we've seen a lot of good stuff up at the front of the field, so it's been tough to jump back throughout the pack. But there's been a lot to keep an eye on. That was an aggressive move from Jake Cummins to make it 3 wide for second when that move between Williams and Halterman didn't work out. And ultimately it was a successful one for him. He got up into P3.
Yeah,
he's looking for more. He got 2 wins last season, the opener and the season finale. So this actually would technically be 2 in a row for him if he finds his way back to victory lane today.
Yeah, it'd be a wide gap between those 2 wins. I honestly, what else is better than ending your last season with a win and starting the new one with another one? So I think he's probably aiming for that win right now, but still, we got 55 laps, and I really think that, you know, these 2 at the front are pretty much, they seem like they're just in a cannon every time they restart, every time they go into any corner, really. I mean, Drew has been able to defend, and really no one's been able to touch John Hagan after he gets out after those restarts. It's kind of a pretty spectacle. It's a good spectacle, I'll say that.
It absolutely is. So now the lights off on the pace car, which means next time by we will be going back green flag racing up at full speed. John Hagan, Drew Williams, that front row. Jake Cummings, Clinton Halterman, row 2. Brandon Schulenberger, Jared Kaler, the multi-time series champ, back for the first time in a couple of seasons, back there on the outside of row 3 in that 58 machine, slowly working his way up through the field. Then Jason Wallet, Jake Hall in row 4. Been pleasantly surprised with the speed of the 98 through the opening going. Was fast in practice, fast in qualifying, fast so far in the race. He might have something for that the front of the field if he's able to get up there. And for those cars stuck in the back, I mean, it's tough on these restarts because by the time you're getting going, the leaders are already halfway around this 1.5 mile track, and it really is going to be a tall order to try and get back up to the front. But here we go as the cars make their way back to the exit of turn 4. Pace car once again going to peel off. It's going to be about 10 laps to the scheduled stage break tonight. Hagan and Williams going to lead them to the restart zone, and we are racing once again at Charlotte.
Yet again, Hagan with that humongous start. Drew having to defend the outside here, and we'll see. Is the
they already threw the caution, I believe.
Okay,
Something fell apart on the restart.
Oh, it's still falling apart.
Seeing a lot of smoke up there.
Okay.
Not sure who that was. We'll have to take a look. This is always the fear with the 42 car field. Looks like Spencer Brown running to Mizzou. Edward Sanchez still sliding as well.
This is probably like you foretold. The people in the back have to wait a couple seconds, and really just probably a lot of bottlenecking, and we'll see here in a sec, but Yeah, I thought my eyes were deceiving me when I saw the yellow was still out. I just
Yeah,
didn't know what was going on.
They never got going, yeah. So everything gets stacked up here with the 52, or maybe just in front of them. You see Whitlock, Stagey, and then Spencer Brown, that pink and green car on the outside lane. Taking a wide shot to see what happened. Oh, and just a big shot in the back, I believe, from Kelton Quick. Gets the Spencer Brown machine sideways. And then everyone has to swerve to avoid. Looks like that opening group did. And then everyone just taking evasive action to get around Spencer Brown. But yeah, it looks like that line checked up in front of the 52. And then the moment he checked up, the 2 got into him. And then this is also what happened to Edward Sanchez. Him and the 43 got into it a little bit, sending the Baruch College machine spinning.
You don't see that every day.
No, you do not, especially in an exhibition race. So one more time on the replay here, you'll see the 88 checks up a hair, slowing up the 52 as the 2 drives it in deep and just gets into him, sending him around. No one else collected, though, here with Spencer Brown, but it will bring out the 3rd caution of the evening.
Now, Alex, so when you're looking at it now, we got probably about 5 laps until the stage break here. Do you think anyone has anything for John Hagen for this until the end of this stage? Because really, it seems like every restart he's been able to get going better than anyone to his outside. Well, really anyone in the same row as him. Granted, it's the front row. I mean, once you get behind that row, you can't really shoot out the cannon, but do you think Drew has anything for him here on this final restart?
Certainly a possibility. We'll have to find out here. John Hagen has definitely got these restarts down to a science through the opening ones, but that's the thing with repeated restarts. The more you do them, the more the person to your outside is going to start being able to better gauge when you're about to launch off and try and time it. So not sure if Drew Williams will get the launch he's looking for this time around. He certainly hasn't the past couple times, but maybe this will be the moment here. They'll get restarted on lap 25. We still have that scheduled stage break at lap 30, so a very stop and start effect to this race at this point. But looking at that front group, John Hagen actually had come down pit road, I believe.
Yeah,
so he has come down pit road, so Jake Cummins has now advanced to that inside group. Drew Williams to his outside. Halterman and Schulenberger row 2. That'll completely shift the complexion of these last couple laps before the scheduled stage break here.
Yeah, I guess everything I was just said was void now, because we don't have John Hagen up front. So I think right now Cummings is going to be leading them to the 5 to go until the stage break here. So Williams to his outside, and then Halterman and Schollenberger behind, and then Jared Kaler in 5th, rounding out your top 5.
So here we go. It'll be Cummings and Williams on the restart this time around. Pace car going to make its way back down pit road. That pace car getting its laps in early. So we make our way back to the restart zone here in the Garage Shop College Cup Series back underway. It is Jake Cummings and Drew Williams at the front of the field. The 123 again having a bit of a tough restart. And Cummings will lead them in the turn 1. 2 and 3 wide, they go behind him.
Drew to the outside of Halterman here. Halterman trying to get to that 2nd spot before the stage break here. As you can see back in the field, just calamity, and a 3 wide potentially down there. So 2 wide as we go back to the top 10 here. Jake Cummings trying to break away. And as he's the only one here, there's multiple 3 wide battles back here in a big pack, it looks like. And it looks like there's a slow car back behind. It looks like they saved it, though. Never mind.
Sawyer Mullins hard into the outside wall. Spencer Brown around as well. And that will be marked as the stage break, as it was within 5 laps of the scheduled break, but definitely not the way they drew it up there if you're Spencer Brown or Sawyer Mullins. Looked like that 36 machine was hard into that outside wall. coming off of turn 4. And that will conclude the opening stage. So Jake Cummings will win the stage break here at Charlotte. Drew Williams, Clint Halterman, Jared Kaler, Brandon Schulenberger, Jason Wallet, Jake Hall, Zach DeWale, Ryan Whitlock, and Kelton Quick all getting stage points here. And, that is about as violent of an impact as you're going to see there for the 36. I mean, he just absolutely hammered that outside wall. And it looks like John Hagan did a great job circumnavigating all of that.
Yeah, he almost paid the price for pitting there. As we can see going into turn 3 here. All alone. I mean, Nick Stockner's a little slow, and he has to send it into the wall. Spencer Brown just collected in that. So driving straight through it, and I mean, both of those cars are pretty damaged, Alex.
Yeah, they that 36 machine has certainly seen better days. So that was the scheduled stage break there brought out from that caution. We'll take one more look. Looks like Stockner tries getting down to the apron and just loses it. And then that ultimately sent some of the cars up the track trying to avoid him, which started collecting other cars in the field. Sawyer Mullins, Spencer Brown, the noted 2 who really got the worst of it.
I'm starting to think he might have been trying to get on pit lane there. I don't know exactly if he had something like a penalty to serve or not. Potentially could have been why he was on the apron, because he did eventually go down pit road from the looks of it. But again, I'm not the driver, so
So as we make our way back to the live feed here, 27 laps in the books. The opening stage done here at Charlotte. As we take a look at how everyone has filtered off of pit road, it appears that the Jake Cummings machine up in the front row alongside Jared Kaler will be that front row once we get going again in just a moment. Alex Finnerty, I believe, also on the inside grouping there. And to his outside is the 82 machine, who I actually don't have saved in my my notes here. Producer Christian, who is the 82 machine? Yeah, up at the front of the field now, that top 4, Grant Metter. I know he's been a pretty popular guy in chat. And now he finds himself going to be restarting row 2 here alongside Alex Finnerty. So an opportunity for the 82 machine to try and make his way up to the lead.
I'm trying to see who's in 5th position here. I see Ricky Paz and Alex Hallinar is in 5th here. Ricky Paz to his outside. So we got a new group up here in the top 6. And, I mean, outside of Cummings and Kaler, it's going to be a pretty new group of people. Could see a new leader here after the pace car rolls off here.
It's entirely a possibility. A couple of folks we don't normally see at the front making their way up there, and a couple of new faces who we haven't had the opportunity of seeing yet also in the mix here. How will they fare once we go back green? So once again, Jake Cummings, Jared Kaler, row 1, Converse University and UNC Charlotte respectively. Another UNC Charlotte driver in Alex Finnerty there in P3. Grant Metter rolling off in the P4 spot. Alex Hallinar, Ricky Paz, your top 6. Here comes the pace car peeling off down pit road. And here we go once again, racing at Charlotte. It'll be Cummings and Kaler leading them to the line. And that outside line did not get a great launch behind the 58.
Cummings with a huge start, and Kaler's trying to catch up now as you see pretty much top 4 is already single file. Top 5 is single file. There's a caution out.
Oh, boy. We just cannot get going here, as that is Matthew Burton who's around. What has happened to the 33 machine?
It did look like that outside line did have a little bit of a gap. It looked like row 4 or 5 potentially could have caused a lot of hiccups and a lot of people just to have their timing really just thrown off. And we'll see what happens here to Matthew. And really looks like there's a group of 3 here that might have just either taken it slow through the wreck or what happened here. But
yes, there's Matthew Burton lined up behind the 27. Oh, and a big checkup for the inside line. As everyone's trying to get around the quad oval. Everyone's starting to push each other. And then just gets tagged by the 7 of Schulenberger.
see a little bit of 4 wide action above there. But yeah, Matthew Burton sent into the inside retaining wall. Probably going to have a good bit of damage on the backside of that car, but nothing too critical, honestly. The backside of the car might be one of the better areas to hit the wall, as it looks like his car might be handling a little differently than it was before.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of crab walking there from the 33. On board here with the 7 of Schulenberger, and you can see how checked up that inside line got on the restart, gets into the 33. And then as they start getting back up through the gears, it looks like he had a ton of a much higher rate of speed than the 33 did. Got a piece of him, sent him into that inside wall.
Sawyer Mullins having a unlucky night so far.
Yeah, having a rough debut so far for the 36.
Looks like he's still keeping on track, though.
Here. Yeah, while we've got a moment here, let's see if we can talk to one of our drivers up near the front of the field. Let's see if we can pull Alex Hallinar in real quick for an interview. Hey, Alex, this is Alex and Brad in the CIL booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got a copy.
Well, it's been a little bit of a pace fest so far in the opening going, but you've found your way up here through a little bit of strategy. How has the race been for you, and what are you hoping to gain here now rolling off from P4?
Well, that first run was pretty nice. I don't know what I was thinking for the pitting there when I did. I don't think it helped me in the long run because I think we all had to make one pit stop from there. I might have to pit later. I'm in 4th now. I guess my goal is to be the leader of all these guys that have fresh tires. I should be able to get the leader on the restart.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna wish you the best of luck with that, Alex. Go get them, and we'll see what happens from up here in the booth. That was a quick talk with Alex Hallinar, who's currently up in that P4 spot. So as they get ready to go here next time by, once again, it'll be Cummings and Kaler up in that first row. Finnerty and Hallinar row 2. Metter and Ricky Paz row 3. That opening 6 cars there. Then you see Edwin and Onofre inside of row 4. Seeing a lot of cars kind of cycle through this top 10.
Yeah, and with especially these cautions, and as Alex described, people have been pitting, so that's opened a lot of doors for some of these people in the top 10 to hopefully try and stay up there. And it's going to be a long race here. We just hit halfway, but hopefully we can get a long green flag run here and potentially just a little bit of 3 wide action, maybe.
Absolutely. So here we go, everything getting stacked up once again, getting ready to go. Here from Charlotte, the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Pace car going to make their way back down pit road. Jake Cummings, Jared Kaler going to lead them to the green flag once again. Green flag back in the air, and here we go once again.
See multiple cars not getting to go in here. A little bit of bottlenecking, but looks like so far everything's okay going into turn 1 as we have a little 3 wide action. Edwin and Onofre trying to clear himself past Sky Shrek. It will work as we see a little bit of potentially getting loose off turn 2 there.
Nice little onboard shot there with some 3 wide action. You see the 82 running the high side. Veliky trying to get to his inside. Oh, and Logan Smith around trying to save it. And the 82 and the 43 hard into the outside wall. And they are absolutely collecting each other across the quad oval.
This is big one, or at least a lot of cars involved.
A lot of cars involved there. It happened up at the front of the field. Looked like the 43 of Sky Shrek and the 82 of Grant Metter hit the outside wall the hardest, but I think a lot of it started with the 34 of Logan Smith, and that car looks absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, usually it's not good if the back of your car and the front of your car are on two different, well, really racing lines right now.
Yeah, really. Anytime you run the middle and the high side at the same time, something's probably going wrong, as that thing is crab-stepping like crazy. He's trying to nurse that thing back to pit road, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be terminal there for the Auburn driver.
I think a couple cars might have some terminal damage here, because it looks like he's just going to pull it off to the side and reset his car. I think that car is in enough pain right now from the looks of it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So let's see if we can take a replay there and see what happened. It was quite the domino effect there from roughly about 10th on back.
Absolutely. It looks like a couple cars in the wall here, and it looks like the 82 just gets a little slowed up here. I think he was in the wall before that, so that's what caused him to be so checked up there, and it just looks like a little bit of neck code potentially. It didn't look like there was direct contact there, but there's just more than that to that situation. Sky Shrek, as you can see, also getting loose and sending it back up towards the 82, and from there it's just a domino effect of who gets collected and who doesn't.
Yeah, it's so hard to catch these next-gen stock cars out of a spin. And that's the big thing there. Is like once these things have a tough time going sideways, but the moment they do, it's almost impossible to catch them again. And I think that's what we saw there with the 43, as the 43 went back up into the 82. But you see just the amount of cars that got collected in this one. I mean, Logan Smith got a massive piece of that one. The 11 got knocked around sideways as well.
Watching some of these cars just fly through there and miss everything is astonishing to me. I saw Drew Williams had some close calls making it through there, and as you could see, it was pretty much a pile up there too.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like that's one of those things, especially because we were just watching it in slow motion. You just want to put like the classical music over it, and it's just like a horror scene unfolding in front of your eyes. On board here with the 123 of Drew Williams, he gets a front row seat to all of this.
You can't even see it. There's just smoke everywhere, and he's just getting past here, just trying to make it by, not to get in the grass, and makes it to the start-finish line pretty much unscathed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he got through that clean as a whistle. Can't say the same thing, though, about the 11 of Keith Brubaker. He is facing the wrong way here after getting collected with the 34, and that Toyota Camry going to spin all the way down to the infield. So we were just hitting the halfway point of tonight's race, about 38 laps in, a 75. And that's just a tough break for a lot of folks.
Absolutely. It's always unfortunate when a wreck happens coming out of a corner, because everyone's trying to just make it out of the corner to begin with, and especially if you're side by side, there's more than just you on that track. So you have to make sure they don't come down into you don't drive up into them trying to avoid it, and especially using the brakes.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So a quick look at the weather while we're at it. Feel free to take a quick gander. 82 degree outside here in the virtual iRacing session. Track temps of 109. Pretty tasty. Pretty warm out there, no doubt about that. Pretty one-lined at this level of heat, although that track will continue to cool off and start to spread the lane higher and higher up the track.
Absolutely, and especially with it being 109, really any racetrack, you can see there's about 20 degrees warmer than the air temperature. So that means the tires are also getting hot, and especially, I mean, as you can see, the lights are off on the pace car now. It's just past halfway, and it looks like we're going to get settled in here to restart.
That we are. So, just past the halfway point here in the Charlotte Crown 115, presented by the Garage Shop. Jared Kaler, Jake Cummings. This time, though, on the other side around. Kaler will lead the inside line. Cummings the outside line. Hallinar and Paz make up row 2, just behind him. Jared Kaler, the all-time leading winner here in the Collegiate iRacing Series, I believe 15 wins to his name over the previous 10 seasons of CIL action. Looking to try and add another one here tonight, even if it's not for points. Jake Cummings, though, obviously the last winner we've had here. He won the season finale of Season 10. Looking to make it 2 in a row. Then a couple of guys behind them hungry for their first win here. Alex Hallinar, Ricky Paz, Alex Finnerty, Edwin Onofre, Landon Bellicki, Oscar Enriquez. Your top 8. So the field getting lined up 2 by 2. Getting ready to rumble once again here at Charlotte. Pace driver makes that hard left turn on the pit road. Field gets ready to go into the restart zone, and we are rolling once again. Paz immediately got shuffled out of line, and that is going to completely disrupt the momentum of that outside lane. Bit of a clunky restart there, but everyone keeps rolling 3 wide for 4th.
Yeah, there was a lot to decipher there. I'm surprised there's no caution as of yet. Probably going to happen now, this next turn, now they say that. But
I'll say you might have just jinxed it.
Yeah, it happens. So, coming to turn 3 here, as you can see, Edwin Onofre on the outside of Brandon Schulenberger, and we're seeing if he can make the move stick here. Didn't. So, coming back to the start-finish line here. Side by side, coming into turn 1. It looks like everyone's pretty much single file outside of these two up until you get probably about 12th and 13th place.
Yeah, so right now Schulenberger working the inside of Onofre. The 119 going to clip the wall just a hair coming off of turn 2, but does not lose any momentum. So he got a nice clean full run off his exit before he clipped that wall. Keeps a nose ahead of Schulenberger. As meanwhile, back up front, Jake Cummings has gotten around Jared Kaler. He will take the lead here on lap 41. Jake Cummings to the point, Kaler in second, and Oscar Enriquez from George Mason University. A lot of pressure right now on the 58. And the caution's out once again. Major carnage there through the quad oval. Zach Tallman around, Matthew Burton, and more.
A little bit of bumper cars here after the wreck. I wonder what happened here.
I wonder too. We'll take a look at the replay in just a second.
The 71 doesn't look like he's very,
that is
a very drivable situation there.
Yeah, the 71 of Zach Tallman, not able really to get away. The 73 of Wesley Shaw from Texas A&M at Texarkana. Looks like he's going to be at least able to drive it back to the field, but definitely a lot of damage on that car. Let's see if we can take a quick look at the replay there and see what happened. Once producer Christian gets that replay together. See the 73 there. Wesley Shaw was just getting around the 82 machine. I actually wonder if this starts in front of him. Matthew Burton gets sideways there through the quad oval. Tallman's already in the wall, and all 3 of them just meet at the same time. Nowhere for the 82 to go either of Grant Metter. Whoa, the 05 of Andrew McManus got airborne. McManus popped a side wheelie going down the front straightaway.
Man, that was... These wrecks have been kind of brutal here at Charlotte.
Yeah, no kidding. It has not been a forgiving racetrack tonight. But we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it'll be continued coverage here of the Charlotte Crown 115 presented by the Garage Shop. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here live at the Collegiate iRacing League. Jared Kaler, Oscar Enriquez, your front row when we get racing again in just a moment. Alex Hallinar, Brandon Schulenberger, row 2, Ricky Paz, Spencer Brown, row 3, Drew Williams, Jake Hall in row 4. Pace car going to make his way back down pit road. And here come the 2 lines once again into the restart zone. And we are rolling here at Charlotte.
Hallinar pushes Kaler out to that lead, and Kaler's able to clear the front 2 here, as Hallinar's looking for second place from Oscar Enriquez.
Yeah, it looked like the 057 got a little bit of the apron through 1 and 2. Cost him a little bit of time. Enriquez will go on by, moving into P2 here, closing in on the back bumper of Kaler. Trying to get below the 58, might just do it here through the quad oval. Oscar Enriquez making a bid for the lead here on the inside of Jared Kaler as they go in the 1 and 2.
Oscar sends it down in there, going into 1, coming out of 2. It looks like Jared Kaler's able to keep beside him, though. He'll have that run coming down the back stretch, especially with Alex Hallinar behind. And it looks like there's a yellow flag out.
Boy, it is really a stroke of yellow fever out here tonight. Wesley Shaw around in the 73 machine. That is Texas A&M at Texarkana. and it has certainly been a stretch of a couple laps that I'm sure he would like to forget after being caught up unwillingly in the incident just a few laps ago.
Especially when you get in some of these, the back of the pack, you get in one wreck and it seems like the rest of the race you just either keep getting caught in it or stuck on pit road. So we're going to see what happens to Wesley here as we're coming through the tri-oval, going into turn 1 here by himself for the moment. It looks like the cars in front are checking up. He has to check up himself, and he looks like he almost hits the 82, but then just locks up the tires. And
well, yeah, something started a lot bigger there just in front of him. The 11 and the 22, Keith Brubaker in the 11. I believe that was Andrew McManus in the 22. So Brubaker tries going up around pods. I think everyone's trying to get low to avoid whatever happened to the 22 machine. And Brubaker just immediately, with nowhere to go, right into it. And then Wesley Shaw around behind him. So here's the onboard with McManus. Was 3 wide with Cummings and Halterman. And they all just ran out of space, and the 22 gets launched back up the track. It's just been tough fighting for real estate out there tonight.
Charlotte's not the widest track, but still seems like a lot of 3 wide battles, and sometimes it looks like they're even 4 wide. Just seems like everyone's trying to find that real estate, and it's going to keep happening here into the final third of this race because we're going on to the final 25 laps here. And I think, Alex, if there's one thing that you have to pick, if you think there's one thing that's going to decide who the winner is and the 41 other losers are, what would it be?
I mean, with the way tonight's going, if you can restart, you're already going to be up at the front of the field because this has just been a great amount of restart practice for everybody. Long run pace, don't worry about it tonight. We haven't had to use it. Longest green flag run has only been about 8 or 9 laps, I believe. Mostly it's just been a lot of these stop and start sort of situations. With that being said, I think if you're going to be able to restart inside those top 2 or 3 rows, you are going to be golden to have as good of an opportunity as anybody to win this race. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon unless things get sorted out in a hurry. Just been a lot of cars running each other over through the middle and back of the field tonight, which, with it being the exhibition race, is not inherently unexpected, but certainly has disrupted the flow of the race just a little bit with a lot of yellow flag laps being run. And it's, I'm sure, frustrating for a lot of those cars up in the front half of the field who are just trying to get out there, trying to log some laps, and are just unable to do so with how stop and start the race has been.
And Alex, one thing I wanted to note here, that when we were talking to Alex Hallinar, he was talking about how he might have to pit another time. And do you think that there's another? Do you think he really needs to pit? I mean, there is 25 laps. I know that's a lot of laps, but especially under caution, I mean, that takes that tire tread. That helps that tire tread a lot.
Yeah, I mean, with the way this race has been going, he might not have to. He might be able to taxi his way all the way on that tank of fuel and be able to make it. On board here with the 82 of Grant Metter, making his CIL debut tonight. He's had an up and down night so far. He's been running up as high as 4th. Got caught up in one of those incidents and now is stuck a little deeper in the field. I think he's back in 32nd, so some work to do for the 82 machine to make his way up toward the front of the field. But the lights are off on the pace car, which means it'll be just about time to get racing once again. Oscar Enriquez, George Mason University, going to lead them to the green this time by Jared Kaler to his outside. Alex Hallinar tucked in just behind them. It's been a great drive, honestly, for the 56 tonight. Qualified inside the top 10 and has slowly but methodically worked his way up into contention to put himself in a position to potentially win this race here. And he's had great short run speed. And I'm curious to see if it carries over here now that he gets to lead the restart for the first time tonight.
Absolutely. He might be able to shoot himself out of a cannon and not look back if we get some green flag running. Also, Ricky Paz staying in the top 6 here, it seems like, for the last 20 or so laps. Good day for him.
Absolutely. So here we go. Getting ready to rumble once again. Oscar Enriquez, Jared Kaler, going to lead them to the green flag in just a moment. Been a very stop and start run to this point. What'll happen this time around? Green flags back in the air. And it looks like Oscar Enriquez is going to clear Jared Kaler as they make their way into turn 1.
The rest of the field 2 by 2. It looks like Alex Hallinar is able to clear himself for 3rd, while Drew Williams and Brandon Schollenberger fight for that 4th position behind Ricky Paz, and it looks like with Spencer Brown on the inside in the 52, looking for 6th place there and potentially some more.
Yeah, it's been a very up and down night for Spencer Brown. Found himself caught up in a couple of the earlier incidents, but has put himself with some track position here on the fuel strategy to get back into the mix. And the moment we turn the ticker back on, we find cars in the grass. That is John Hagan, who led some laps in this race, as well as the 68 machine of Connor Bingle, the UAH driver. And he does not appear to be alone in cars that were caught up in that one. Boy, they just cannot seem to settle down tonight, Bradley, can they?
No, it's really cautions breed cautions, and as we can see, it looks like well, first off, the 100 car there is just shut out of a cannon, getting past.
That was Jake Cummins absolutely flying there to the inside of Nick Stockner. But Edward Sanchez is around way up there with Logan Smith, and there is just nowhere for anyone in that field to go. Holy. What a tough place to be spun sideways. There was absolutely no room coming off the corner. So you see the 26 of Sanchez up high there. Got a host of cars behind him. And the 26, with some damage, already a little bit loose, gets tagged by the 34. And then from there, he hits the outside wall, stacks back up into Tallman as Smith gets turned sideways. And then, there's just nowhere for any of those folks to go.
I think Jake Cummings was the only person in that group of like 8 cars to not be touched.
It certainly seems like it. I mean, a lot of cars involved there. Stockner, the 05 of Kiefer Phillips, John Hagan, the 68 of Connor Bingle. I mean, it's just a whole host of cars. Edward Sanchez going backwards through the restart zone. It's been a very silly time, to say the least.
This is the first race of the season, and as we said in the pre-race, there's, a lot of people having to feel out, who are they up against? How, do you get to the front? And the sad thing is you can't get to the front on lap 1, or in this case, lap 55. It seems like the people up front have been staying up there, and really these cautions and pit stops have been causing the field to be a little mixed up. So we'll see exactly what comes out of this caution here. So you see Skystrike in the 43 here. Beautiful paint scheme, by the way. I really like that paint scheme.
Absolutely. So here is how they run. We'll do a quick run through the field here while we have a second. Oscar Enriquez leads over Jared Kaler, Alex Hallinar, Drew Williams, Brandon Schulenberger, your top 5. Spencer Brown, Garrett Vighton, Jake Hall, Jason Wallet, Daniel Nanny, your top 10 as they run. Ben Neller and P11, Aiken Lamar in 12th. Zach DeWale, Clinton Halterman, Kelton Quick making up the top 15. Alex Finnerty was up there for a little bit. Now he's fallen back to 16th position. And you can see there, rolling through the bottom of your screen, revolving those bottom 4. Arpine, Shrek, Veliki, and Onofre, your top 20. The rest of the field continues the cycle on that timing tower. Honestly, we haven't had a ton of time to look at the new and updated timing tower here on iRacing tonight. Producer Christian put this one together, and we have not been able to see it a whole lot tonight with the amount of replays we've been taking for cautions. And it's, lot of new stuff in the works for when we get the opportunity to use it. We just need to get going a little bit. But as far as cars who are making up some track position, Garrett Vighton up 27 spots from where he qualified. He is on a warpath to the front here, now running P7. Alex Hallinar, Ben Neller, Logan Harpine, and Nick Stockner all up a good amount of positions as well.
Coming to 19 to go here. And it looks like Jared Kaler and Oscar, along with really Drew Williams and Alex Hallinar, have been pretty much at the front the entire time. Brandon Schollenberger as well. So it seems like a revolving door of those 5 and just which position they want to, be in when the caution comes out. So if, time will tell if we see who will take the lead here after this caution. But Alex, do you think anyone outside of this top 5 can drive their way up? I mean, like as we said before, potentially if people need the pit for fuel, I don't know how long these people have been on their tires as well. So these racers could really be, at the will of the cautions or, just green flag running if we get it here in the next 18 laps.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And, it's always tough to tell how much fuel you can truly save because they haven't had to burn a ton. Laps are still ticking away, but very little of it has been at full speed. And, Brad, I mean, these are the kind of situations, as I'm sure you would know as a driver, it's just so frustrating when it's just a constant restart barrage that you can't get into any kind of rhythm.
Absolutely.
So here we go. Pace car about to peel off once again. Gonna ride on board with the 73 of Wesley Shaw. There's the onboard camera of the driver making their debut from Texas A&M at Texarkana. And here we go, rolling into that restart zone. The 73 giving a little bit of a wide berth there to the field in front. And with the way this one is going, I can't say I blame him. He's going to work his way back up the speed here as you see the field fan out in front of him.
Absolutely, and those who are new to iRacing, you have the option to race VR. As you can see, he's wearing a headset, and it's a lot more immersive, and you can get a lot more out of it by turning your head simply instead of having to have multiple monitors. As we see, he's getting out of turn 4 here, coming up to the start-finish line. Looking at the front here, Oscar Enriquez, Jared Kaler, Hallinar, Drew Williams, and Brandon Schollenberger haven't made much mix-up there. It's pretty much those same 5. Garrett Baton and Spencer Brown also staying in the top 7.
Hallinar losing a bit of ground on the inside there. Kaler going to go on around. Drew Williams going to try and follow him off the corner. Williams tagged that outside wall, and they will bunch up 2 by 2 through that group of cars. Garrett Vighton going to try and make his move to the inside. The new fastest lap, Oscar Enriquez, 29.913, cruising at the front of the field. Some clean air doing that 56 wonders while everyone is battling side by side behind him, and that side draft is only going to slow him down.
Absolutely. As you saw, whenever Brandon Schollenberger in the wall there, a little bit remnant of Drew Williams there. I was going to say, Brandon gave him a heck of a shot through the trioval there, and as we see the rest behind
from the wall. Jake Hall's around as well. Certainly that will bring out another caution here tonight as they are facing nose-to-nose in the corner. Ryan Whitlock around as well. Looked like things had just started to settle in, and before you know it, cars are sideways into turn 1. What a night it has been so far with just the whole field at Charlotte. It has been an adventure, to say the least.
Absolutely, and also one of the most defeating feelings is driving backwards along the wall, looking at another car, having a staring contest.
Yeah, there really is no more humbling experience.
Gaggle of cars.
It's just more cars going 3 wide, and that's a tough spot to come in. Your spotter might not know that middle one was there. Sky Shrek comes up across the nose of Ben Neller, ends up into the outside wall facing Jake Hall. Looks like Andrew Stagey might have gotten on the brakes just enough to avoid that one, but certainly not been a great night for a lot of folks out here. Ryan Whitlock can now be added to that total as that 81 machine hammers the outside wall.
Man, oh man, and the car, just fixed itself to get hit again.
So, Brad, let me ask you this. Obviously, it is incredibly frustrating as a driver when everything's stop and start. But do you, if you were in the front of this pack, if you're in the top 10, top 12 or so, do you look at it as, this is a mess, but at least I'm not in it? Or do you just look at it as, this is a mess?
Mainly just seeing it as more of a mess. Now, not in the fact that, it's the people around you, even if a wreck happens up front, we've seen it happen in the top 5, it's really just unfortunate circumstances. And I think the one thing about being up front during all this is that, like you said earlier, you kind of get out of sync. You kind of have to keep putting on your restart helmet and have to make sure you get back on the throttle, time everything right in the front, and then especially if you're 10th or 5 or so rows back, you have to anticipate the start while also not flying into the guy in front of you. And also it looks like we have no takers for pit road, so it looks like I'm gonna guess that everyone's gonna go to the finish here with what their set of tires and all the fuel they've saved here.
Yeah, I'm about to say they've done a crazy amount of fuel save just with the amount of time they've spent at 45, 50, 55 miles an hour, I suppose, up to full speed. And at Charlotte you can get up to about 170, 180 no problem on these straightaways. But been able to save a lot of fuel here tonight. There is no doubt about that. And this is one of those moments where when you find yourself, you're in the closing stages of this race, and there's 12 to go here. It'll be 11 at the line. When we get racing under green flag conditions, I believe it'll be 10. It's one of those moments where you're this close to getting out of here with the win. It's just a matter of, can you make it there without some sort of incident befalling you? And I think back, about lap 18 or so. It was the second caution of the night that came out, and I made a comment that I was a little surprised that we hadn't seen, that much calamity. It seems like things had been going well, and clearly that was not the thing to say, as I have jinxed the ever-loving everything out of this. So, on board here with Sawyer Mullins, who, let me tell you, he has had an adventurous night here in his CIL debut. Been caught up in a couple of things early, but has since rallied back and currently finds himself P17, despite everything.
And Alex, one thing about Sawyer here, he said Brad Keselowski has signed his buns before. Now, take that as you will. I just have information saying this, so...
We asked all the drivers to fill out some fun facts at the start of the year, and I guess that is what Sawyer Mullins wanted everybody to know. Keselowski signed his buns. Whether that's some King's Hawaiian or something else, not something we're going to get into right now, because we are about to go back under the green flag. Oscar Enriquez, Alex Hallinar, your front row, Drew Williams sitting there in row 2. As the field stacks up, we are going to be on board for this restart with the 077 of Clint Halterman, who's right in the middle of this field. Garrett Fighton to the outside of Drew Williams there, row 2. Schulenberger, Spencer Brown, Daniel Nanny, Jason Wallet, your front 8. 9th is Clint Halterman, running that Miller Lite 22, but he's scored on the pylon as the 077. he will be the one that we will be on board with here on the ensuing restart. And here we go, getting up through the gears. On board here with Clint Halterman, multi-time winner here in the CIL.
As you can see, a potential 3-wide action is, it looks like Hallenar's able to close the door, keep that 2 wide, get that outside lane as he pushes Brandon Schollenberger up and try to keep that outside lane going.
Yeah, Nanny took a look to the inside up there, nothing going. Hallenar here going to tuck in behind the 55, and wouldn't you know it, folks, that yellow is out there once again. Looks like the 73. Wesley Shaw trying to get back up the speed here. Not sure who else may have been involved in that one besides him, but this may be a long run to the finish.
Right after the restart here, going into turn 1. Looks like a little bit of action back here. And as you can see, Jared Kaler slides up and
yeah, that's the 88 of Stagey, who sideways clips through the 73 entirely. Not sure if I've ever seen that. I mean, just straight up phased on through it. But now we got to see what happened to the 88 of Stagey. He was behind his teammate, Kelton Quick, and behind them, the teammate of Ben Neller, all Ball State cars.
ooh, a slight tap. That's all it takes. It's just right up into the wall. That car has seen the end of its day. And then eventually you'll see the inside of the 73 car as well.
Yeah, it's not too often, you can shake the hands of the driver there. But, man, it's been, the Clash is always a time to a time to try some new things. And that was certainly something. I actually don't know if I've ever seen a car completely phase through someone like that. Like, I know sometimes the hitbox will disappear if someone's, like, flipping or whatever. That was entirely new to me. I don't know if I've seen someone, like, full-on rotate through another car. So, iRacing having a bit of a field day with the physics here. Zach DeWale, the onboard camera here, back in the student division after last year being a part of that alumni group, going back to school for his master's, I believe. I'm going to at least assume that that's the case, because last year he was running the alumni numbers, so, if that's... all right. It sounds like the league admins are going to try and set this one up to be a single-file restart. I can't say I blame him. And we'll see if we can get down in the last 8 laps here to the end of this race under green flag conditions. It will mean, though, that our longest green flag run of the day, I believe the 8 laps right at the start of the race. Things are shaping up pretty nicely, though, Brad, for Oscar Enriquez. If you find yourself in the lead this late in the race, what's going through your head knowing that the field has not really been able to get going at any point, and you keep getting to lead on these restarts?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, especially it helps that it's a single file restart. He doesn't have to worry about anyone on his outside. He can really just focus on the open road in front of him. Now, obviously, he set the fastest lap, so we know he has speed. And I think if we get these last 5 laps going here, stay green, if he really gets a solid 2 laps down and then is able to pull out a large enough lead, he could really just, run a comfortable line. He doesn't have to push too much. It just really depends if Drew Williams or anyone behind him can just get alongside him, especially since it's single file restart again. And with that, the whole field will be single file, and really probably half of the track will be half of the track will be taken up by cars in this line.
Yeah, it certainly will. And to the point, I've seen a couple people talk about the fact that the pace car here has led the most laps tonight. No doubt about that one. He certainly has put his work in and then some. There will be a nice crisp beverage for the pace car driver, I'm sure, when this one's said and done. Might have burned the most fuel out of anyone out there as well.
I was gonna say you might have needed some fuel when he went in the last time here.
Yeah, he might have. So the lights are off on the pace car. When we go green, it will be 5 laps to go. They'll be attempting a single file restart to try and get to the end of this one. And once again, can't say I blame them with the way this one has gone. So your field, when they get the restart here, Oscar Enriquez from George Mason University, Drew Williams from Clemson, Brandon Schulenberger from Wingate, Daniel Nanny from Ball State, Alex Hallinar from Binghamton, Garrett Vitton, Arizona State, Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte. Your top 7, Spencer Brown, UNC Charlotte, Zach DeWale for St. Clair College, Jason Wallet, Drexel University. Your top 10 as they get ready to restart here for potentially the final time tonight.
If you want to see a checkup, watch this one.
Don't put that evil out there, Brad. Come on now. Hey, alrighty. Here we go. Pace car peels away. Enriquez is going to lead him to the restart zone. And here he goes, gets on the gas, and we are racing again at Charlotte. What a move from the 057 of Alex Hallinar. Going to swing to the outside and try and pick up a couple of positions in the turn 1.
He timed his start perfectly, potentially getting 2 spots out of it out of the second turn here. Brandon Schoenberg gets a little loose coming out of that turn there. As you can see, the field staying mostly single file until you get a little further back. As you see Daniel Nanny going out, making it 3 wide through the middle, potentially making it stick. It looks like Brandon Schoenberger is the one that wins out, keeping that 3rd position, but Nanny being 4th and Hallinar potentially losing 5th place here.
Yeah, so Enriquez leads here, 0.3 of a second over Drew Williams. Schulenberger up the 3rd, Nanny holding on to the 4th spot, but Garrett Vitton hot on his heels. The Arizona State driver going to try and find his way around in turn 3. Everything gets stacked up, a big push to the back bumper of the 30. He's going to catch it, though, through the middle of the corner. Schulenberger into the outside wall, and there they go. Careening through the infield line. And almost certainly another caution. Oh, what a pileup. Folks, there's things called brakes. Come on.
I was going to say, I saw about 10 cars still going 150 miles an hour through that wreck.
There was a couple of cars who just said, I'm going to see God or the checkered flag, except it was 3 to go and it was the yellow, and they all elected to see God. Holy Arca brakes here in the CIL. I don't even know what to say to that. Now we're about 1 step away from becoming moon car out here.
And I think we were watching obviously we were watching where this all started. It's just the aftermath was the real cataclysmic piece. But as you see, 3 wide coming out of the corner there, and it looks like Brandon Schoenberger just gets a little too much of the wall, comes back down, and it's just a little bit of a bottle effect. And I think, is that Vitton who's sliding back up onto the track there?
Yeah, this is on board with, I believe, Logan Smith, who just is flying into this head on and just piles into, I think that was the 55 of Garrett Vitton. It was either him or the 157 of Alex Hallinar, but holy, that was something. And now I am deeply afraid to ask producer Christian, what is the CIL overtime policy? All right, we are going to get them lined up for an attempt at a green-white checkered. Because if there wasn't enough carnage yet, I think there's going to be this time around. It has certainly been an evening to remember to kick off Season 11 of the Collegiate iRacing League, the Garage Shop College Cup Series. What a time so far. Bradley, obviously, with this being your first time in the CIL booth, I can't even imagine what's going through your head at the moment.
Honestly, there's a good bit going through my mind, as in positives and negatives. You get a lot of action. I mean, some people watch NASCAR for the wrecks. Now, it obviously doesn't create some great racing material if you like racing, but some people like seeing these wrecks, and as much as they are very cool to watch cars pretty much just drive at 150 miles an hour to the wall, as we just saw there, it is it's a little exciting, but it also creates these 5-minute pace laps. So there's a yin and a yang to that, but really, this race, it's preseason, everyone's trying to work out not only their own personal skills and trying to get their skills fine-tuned for Talladega next race, but they're trying to just figure out, where, what to do on these restarts, how these restarts work at these non-restrictor plate. Well, really, the restrictor plate races also have these times where it seems like a couple, slower laps, if you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, tonight has been full of that. There's no doubt about it. So lights are off. Oh no, lights are still on the pace car. I think we'll go around one more time here. Looking at this top 5, though, with the wreck that just took out about half the top 5, it completely changes the complexion of what we're looking at here. Oscar Enriquez leads. Drew Williams is second. Alex Hallinar still rolls in third, despite the fact he's one step away from running the wheel in modified. Clint Halterman is fourth. Zach DeWale fifth. And then you've got Jason Wallet, Spencer Brown there back through 7. And I believe next time by is when we'll be going racing again. Yes, we are. Lights are out on the pace car. And they will try and bring this thing to a close. On a high note, though, Oscar Enriquez has put in quite the effort tonight. I think he qualified, was it 11th or 12th, and has worked his way up to the front. One green-white checkered attempt is what I'm hearing in my ear from producer Christian. So this is going to be the final restart of the night. Caution, checkered flagged or otherwise. George Mason's Oscar Enriquez is going to lead him to the green, with Drew Williams, Alex Hallinar, Clint Halterman, Zach DeWale just behind him. For anyone who's not seen a green-white checkered before, it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. 1 lap of green, 1 white flag, and then the checkered flag.
If the caution does come out with the green flag still in hand, that means at the end of the race. Once the white flag comes out, the leaders must come back and finish the rest of the race here to figure out who will win this preseason race.
All right. Pace car peels off. Here we go. And just in case I don't get it in, this green-white checkered brought to you by McConey Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the home of iRacing setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more. Oh, and Enriquez sideways on the restart. Oh, no. And I think that's going to do it here from Charlotte. What happened there?
It's a pile-up.
No.
Oscar, he does not look happy. He's burning it down here.
He just completely lost the handle on that race car on the restart, and everything stacked up behind him. Holy.
Looks like Drew Williams might be your winner here? Yeah. Maybe. Pace car's coming back out to run some more laps, I guess.
Winner here tonight, maybe the pace car. Who's to say? We are waiting to hear from race control to hear the official verdict on what the official finishing order is tonight. pace car needs to be paid overtime. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. He has certainly put in the extra work tonight. Producer Christian, you hearing anything about what the word is at this point? Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened there to Oscar Enriquez. That was the one thing that you didn't want to have happen if you were the 56. Things just got a little bottled up. Right here, you see he spins the tires, gets a little loose. And when he goes to try and catch the car, I mean, the rest of the field's coming in at full steam.
No. The one thing that, I guess you see the cars flying by. Also, the positions matter. Once you make it out of the wreck, if you drive through the wreck like that, you want to probably back towards the back half of the field results-wise.
Oh, you absolutely will.
So,
well,
some cars were still trying to catch up to the field here while the restart was going on, and Edward Sanchez is, I think he's playing Freebird as he's coming to the start-finish line here.
I don't even want to know what's going through Edward Sanchez's mind there, seeing all that unfold. I mean, that is just carnage personified. And, gets hit from behind, of course. He got on the brakes, and the guy behind him didn't. Let's see. That is the 28 up there who was also involved, Logan Harpine from ETSU. Man, what a night it has been. I keep going back to the line, but I've literally hit a point where I don't know what else to say about this race. That was Ricky Paz popping the back wheelie there after contact with Schulenberger. You really just need to start playing in the arms of an angel at this point, I think.
Yeah, unless you're in the top 5. Well, we didn't even really just, I guess play in the arms of an angel. And shoo, a lot of action, I'll tell you that. A lot of damaged race cars, a lot of money being spent to repair all these race cars.
Getting some confusion here from the production booth. I do believe that we actually may have not more than one attempt at a green-white checker. There might be 3. Hopefully, the second one will put this race to bed. But I think that will... Unless the other one was not the green-white checker. No, it definitely... Yeah, hold on. This is... What a time to be out here. The preseason, an opportunity to flush everything out. And in this case, that includes figuring out what is going on up here right now. We are hearing officially from race control that there is 3 attempts at a green-white checkered maximum, not 1, like we had initially heard. So we will have, at most, 2 more attempts, hopefully only 1 more. Apologies for those at home. We had initially heard that there was only 1 attempt at a green-white checkered. Turns out that there is a maximum of 3. So again, the green-white checkered rules, 2-lap shootout, 1 lap of green, then the white flag, and then the checkered. If the caution comes out before the white flag, they will try it again. If they take the white flag, the next flag will end the race. And now we are officially hearing it is indeed at most 3 attempts. So again, apologies, folks. We initially heard it was 1, but they're going to rack it up and try this again to get this thing running to the finish. Drew Williams, Alex Hallinar, Zach DeWale, Jason Wallet, your top 4. And here we go once again. Drew Williams going to hit the restart zone. He is away, and the front of the field is away.
Made it out of the triangle this time.
Board.
See some action further back in the pack, but Drew Williams is able to open up a gap over Alex Hallinar. Hallinar still driving without the front end, still capable of keeping second place, but looks like Zachary DeWale's on his way to try and get that second place comeback.
Kaler driving it low there on the 99. Contact deeper in the field. Did they take the white flag, though? I believe they have. So next flag will end the race. Drew Williams leads. He's going to make his way down the back straightaway. Zach DeWale second. Jason Wallet running in third. Here comes the 123. Out of turns 3 and 4. He was the Season 8 champion. And he is going to win a yellow-filled run at Charlotte, winning the Clash. Drew Williams, winner of the Charlotte Crown 115, powered by the Garage Shop.
He's been up at the front all day and pretty much ended up there. As you can see, first place Drew Williams here at Charlotte.
And that race will have the end come to a close, maybe rather mercifully. Drew Williams, the survivor of this absolute gauntlet of a race. And he is going to bring it to the start-finish line. And he is going to burn it down. He had to keep himself in contention restart after restart. And he was able to do just that.
He was in the right place at the right time. Really, I think he was in front for, the final 10 laps there, at least.
Yeah, he was battling up there with Enriquez before the 56 had issues on that previous restart. But we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the final results and interviews with your race winner and other podium finishers. We'll be right back after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Alrighty, folks, we are back. Just watched the clash here at Charlotte kickoff event, season 11 of the Garage Shop College Cup Series here in the CIL. Your final results coming here on screen. Your race winner tonight, the 123 of Drew Williams from Clemson University, Zach DeWale second, Jason Wallet third. We will hear from all 3 of those drivers in just a moment. Alex Hallinar fourth, Jared Kaler 5th, Aiken Lamar up to P6, Ben Neller 7th, Nick Stockner up 33 spots to P8. What a drive for the 124. Jake Cummings finishes 9th, and Alex Finnerty holds on for the top 10 finish.
Coming in 11th is Sky Strack from Oklahoma University. 12th, Grant Meter. 13th, Zach Tallman. 14th, Daniel Nanny. 15th, Kelton Quick from Ball State. 16th, Wesley Shaw. 17th, Ethan Decatur. 18th, Jake Hall. 19th, Ricky Paz. And rounding out your top 20 is John Hagan.
21st tonight's Baruch's Edward Sanchez, Sawyer Mullins 22nd, Logan Harpine 23rd, Garrett Vighton 24th, Brandon Schulenberger 25th. All of these drivers finishing off the lead lap. Spencer Brown 26th, Andrew McManus 27th, Edwin Onofre 28th, Devin DeVoe 29th, Clint Halterman finishing 30th.
In 31st, we got Connor Bingle. In 32nd, Kiefer Phillips. 33rd, Oscar Enriquez, after leading all day, had that unfortunate final restart and ended up 33rd, 7 laps down. 34th, Landon Valecki. 35th, Logan Smith. 36th, Andrew Stagey. 37th, Ryan Whitlock. 38th, Andrew Burton. 39th, Keith Brubaker. And 40th, Mario Miranda.
And then rounding out the field tonight, Andrew Burrell finishing 41st, Tony Brown finishing 42nd, not taking the green flag. And with that, we'll be moving on over here to Victory Lane to talk to the driver of the 123 who picked up the victory here tonight. Drew, it was a war of attrition, but it was ultimately you who got the Victory Lane. Talk to us a little bit about your night, and particularly those final couple of restarts.
Yeah, man. So yeah, definitely was a war of attrition. I really didn't expect taking the pit stop at the stage to get buried so far back in traffic and have such a hard time getting back. But yeah, we had about 25 green flag laps all night, so it was really hard to just make any progress on the field. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm super thrilled to be here. Definitely got lucky with Oscar's spin at the start on that first green white checkered. I was just able to bring it back for a win.
Yeah, and you were certainly able to do that, kicking off the season in good fashion here with the win. Obviously, there's not a whole lot that we can really take away from today's race as far as, what the car was doing on the green flag conditions, but does the qualifying speed and the ability for you to maintain position on the restart at least give you some momentum going into the start of the season here, building off this win in any way?
No, I mean, qualifying was a really good shakedown of where we are pace-wise compared to the field, and with some notable road to pro drivers not making the field this year, and some of the rookies with how they are speed, I felt like we should be a favorite to win every week. It's calling my shot here, but I really think this is the year of the 123, and we're going to pick up some wins. And tonight was just the start of that. I can win them on attrition, I can win them on pace, and we're just going to do whatever we got to do to get there.
Well, we are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, that's about all I got. Just happy to be here.
Well, hey, congrats on the win, Drew. We are honestly excited to see how you and that Clemson 123 machine fares this season. Always a contender, maybe this year more than any previously. But anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here in Victory Lane?
Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to all my Orange Wheel Racing guys. We've got a big group this year, and we're faster than ever. We've been practicing over the summer. We ran some other leagues and got a lot of speed there. So I really think Orange Wheel Racing is here, and we're ready to play.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the win there, Drew. A great way to kick off the season for you and the Orange Wheel Racing team, and we look forward to seeing you in the booth again real soon.
All right, thank you.
And that was Drew Williams, winner here tonight at Charlotte. Got it done when he was restarting second. The car in front of him lost control. He took the lead, and then on the final restart, didn't look back. Moving on down pit lane now, talking with our second place finisher here tonight. Brad Daniels has caught up with Zach DeWale here on pit lane.
Hey Zach, pleasure to talk to you here. You got yourself to the second place position at the end of the race here, and it seemed like the whole race was kind of a battle of attrition, as we said here before. And did you really have a strategy going into these closing laps?
Absolutely not. It was real hard to think of any kind of strategy with how much cautions we were getting and guys wrecking all over the place. It was hard to predict where anything was going to happen. So I guess the only real strategy was just use up the tires that I had on it and just let it rip and try and get by the guys that I could.
Absolutely, it worked out in your favor. You finished second position here. And one last question here: if you were to go back to the beginning of this race and tell yourself one thing about this race outside of the cautions, would you have changed the strategy or anything differently? I mean, as you said, you didn't really have a strategy going into the end of it, but was there something you might have had, you regretted doing early in the race or towards the end of the race here that you want to fix or anything?
It's hard to say. At first, I was thinking about the initial pit stop put me in a bad position as far as track position goes, which it's pretty hard to pass here in these cars. They get side by side and they just stall out. So if I could have maybe held some track position a little bit better, but that pit stop was going to have to happen at some point because these tires, they just don't hold on for that long. Even with how many caution laps we turned, it would have eventually gone bad on me. But yeah, really just try and hold on to track position a little bit better is the only thing I can really say I'd do different.
Hey, sounds like, after everything, you ended up second here. It's late night. Do you have anyone to shout out here?
Yeah, for sure, as usual. Emily, Riley, Trent, and Chloe, Andrew, the OWR guys for keeping me company during those cautions. And yeah, that's about it. It's you couldn't see it on stream, but Ryan Whitlock hooked up a nice new paint scheme for me this year too. So big shout out to him. It looks great. I'm excited for y'all to see it next week.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Zach. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
And that was second place finisher Zach DeWale bringing it home in P2 tonight. Moving a little further down pit lane. Final member of our podium finishers here tonight. It's the 76 of Jason Wallet, that Drexel machine, working his way up into P3. Jason, talk to us a little bit about your night. It certainly seemed like the restarts were more critical than just about any race we've run here previously.
With all the bumping that's been happening on the inside line, you could say that at least.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like that was the case. Talk to us a little bit those final couple of restarts. You were in the top 10, but you still had a little bit of work to do. Was there a game plan going into those green-white checkers to work your way up into a podium spot?
I think most of it was just taking advantage of other people's mistakes and all the wrecks that happened in front of us.
Yeah, of which there was certainly quite a few. One more question for you while we're on the top here. Obviously, tough to really get a gauge of the field here tonight with the constant stop and start. But how do you feel you're shaping up this season going into the first points-paying race next week at Talladega?
Pretty confident in myself. I had some pretty good runs at Daytona like a week ago, and yeah, I think we'll have a good run there.
All right. Well, I am certainly looking forward to seeing it. I know that you've gotten a win at the restrictor plates here in the CL before. Excited to see if you'll be able to repeat that again next week. Jason, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while you're up here in the booth?
Yeah, thanks everyone at Rectal Esports for, giving me all the support for the iRacing program. Thanks to my mom and dad for getting me all my sim racing equipment, and thanks everyone else who's helped me out along the way to get up here.
Alrighty. Well, hey, Jason, congrats on the podium finish here tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in the booth here in the coming weeks.
Thank you. You too.
And that was Drexel University's Jason Wallet bringing home the third place finish here tonight from Charlotte. Brad, any final thoughts that you've got here tonight from how this one went?
If there's one thing I know is that really you can go up from this race, as in a lot of people can take this race, learn from it, and then ultimately bring it to Talladega next week, the season opener, score some points this time around, and it should shape up for a pretty entertaining race.
Yeah, I think it certainly will. I think there'll be a lot of drivers going back to the drawing board after tonight to get everything tuned up for Talladega next week. But speaking of which, first points paying race next week, 9 p.m. is September 2nd. They're going to Talladega for the season opener. 2.66 miles, lanes as far as the eye can see, high speed, high thrill will be the season opener next week. But if you can't wait that long for CIL action, we've got 2 more races on the slate for you this week. First one is on Wednesday night, and that will be the Formula C Series, I believe. Their preseason Clash event. And producer Christian, where is that one taking place at? It's going to be taking place at Road America. That'll be right here on the CIL YouTube, 9 p.m. Wednesday night, August 28th. We've also got the Clash event for the new Endurance Series. The first ever race of the Endurance Series on Thursday. Next week. It'll be September 5th. Our schedules are all out of whack here up in the CIL booth, but who could blame us? It's been a bit of a weird night here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we'll see you Wednesday for the Clash event of Formula C, if not right here once again next week for the first points paying race of the CIL at Talladega. And for everyone here at the CIL, for producer Christian Hill, for my co-commentator Brad Daniels, I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for tuning in. Good night, and we'll see you next week.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.